Hi, everybody. It's Helen McConnell here from helenmcconnell.com. This video is tapping for anxiety. So many of you tell me you suffer from anxiety. I've worked with a lot of you around this to help lower your anxiety levels. And I really think this video is going to be super helpful. I encourage you to listen to the whole thing, tap through as you listen to it twice if you need to. But if you'd really like to get free of these anxious feelings, I think you're going to find a little bit of new information here. So we'll begin. First, I want to tell you a couple of things. That you become what you think about, and you will reap what you sow, and you can train your mind. We weren't taught that we could train our minds very often. Most of us didn't learn that as kids or teenagers or adults, but it's time to learn. You can train your mind, and this is one of the ways to do that without just a ton of effort. This should be fairly simple, fairly easy. So fear of having an emotion or several emotions and the feelings that go with it, go with that fear, can really stop us in our tracks. So many people are afraid of experiencing anxiety or panic. Before they even have the anxiety or panic, they're in a state of fear. You may be in a state of fear. I want you to think about that. So that's like two separate things going on. So first, we're going to address the fear of having the experience. I really get it. But sooner or later, if we want to experience inner peace and calmness, we need to complete these emotions rather than suppress them. So what begins to happen is I sense that anxiety is coming on, and I'm afraid of that feeling. So the fear causes me to suppress the anxious feelings as best I can, which doesn't usually work. I still feel anxious, or I have a panic attack. And then I'm left feeling even more afraid. Just take a deep breath. If this starts to activate you, just start tapping on the side of your hand as we go through this a little ways. These emotions are the experience of energy moving through our body. All emotions are energy moving through our body. And our bodies are meant to be conduits, not containers. So when we fear something, and if we don't experience the energy of the fear and allow it to move through us, we repress or suppress the energy. And there are times when it's appropriate to repress our emotions, just to hold them off for a little while. But then we need to express that energy as soon as it's practical. And when you think back over your life, we weren't taught that either. Like after a scary event or after a traumatic event, we weren't taught to express the energy that we repressed during this experience. But you'll notice animals shake after a frightening event. They really shake it off. And that's what we need to kind of learn how to do. So if we've been suppressing energy for a long time, we build up fear about experiencing an emotion. And it's all energy. We're afraid of the projection our mind makes about how bad it will feel. And often people feel like if they begin expressing it, they may never be able to stop. And if you follow these steps carefully, that shouldn't happen to you. And if it does, if for some reason you start and you can't stop, I say just keep tapping, okay? But we can learn to express that energy in healthy ways, and that's what we're going to do here today. Let's say you experience an emotion, which is energy movement, and you call it anxiety. As you got scared the first time you experienced it, you decided it was a scary feeling. It's usually unconscious. We're not that aware of our feelings in our body because early on we're taught not to pay attention to our emotions. Many of you were taught not to have emotions. So you repressed and then suppressed the energy. So repress is a good temporary thing to do. But most of us learn to actually suppress, which means more permanent, just hiding it away and never looking at it. And you're suppressing energy, which is the emotion. You began storing it in your body. That's where it stores in the body. We think sometimes it's in our mind, but it's not. It's in our nervous system. It's as if you wound up, think of it as winding up all the old energy and never letting it go. Remember, your body is meant to be a conduit, not a container. It's meant to allow energy to conduct through it, not to be stored in it. Big difference. Okay, so now you may feel another emotion, fear, whenever you sense or notice that anxiety feeling. That's what I was describing earlier, that, oh my God, I'm afraid to feel anxious. I'm afraid to have a panic attack. I'm afraid that I'm going to feel anxious. I'm afraid that I'm going to have a panic attack. And this is the mind just really messing with you. So for this exercise, we'll observe and experience and let go of the fear energy first, the fear of experiencing anxiety or panic, so that we can then observe and experience and let go of the anxiety or panic energy. And we're going to start calling it energy. It's a feeling, a sensation made up of moving energy. And sometimes I think it gets more slow moving as we suppress it and repress it. Through this exercise, we'll observe the energy without labeling it. So it's almost like you have to kind of sit back within yourself and observe the energy. And as soon as you are going to start this exercise, I want you to start tapping. Again, just tap on the side of your hand for now. And as you observe, you're not going to do this yet. I'm going to explain it and then we'll do it together. We're going to observe the energy without labeling it, without judging it as good or bad or scary or not scary, to the best of our ability. We're going to observe the energy without telling any stories about it. We have lots and lots of stories about these sensations that are flowing through our body. And why would we want to not label, not judge, not tell any stories about it? Because those things hook us to the energy, makes it really hard to observe and let it go. But when we're going to do this, we're just going to call it an energy or a sensation. Okay, and then as you observe the energy and the sensation, you're going to give it a color and a texture to the best of your ability. Just sense into it or make up a color and allow your mind to observe the energy in that color and in that texture. The texture means, is it solid and not hardly moving, or is it squishy, or is it like vapor? You decide. It's not up to me to decide. And then we'll observe as the energy moves and changes. Then we'll consciously release the energy by allowing it to unwind and express. So remember earlier we said it's as if we've wound up all of this energy and all these thoughts and all these emotions in our body. Now we're going to allow this energy that is an emotion that we have a name for. We're going to allow it to unwind and express, not express in a way that's damaging, but we're going to allow it to express without causing any harm. And we'll use tapping to assist in the process, because tapping is so helpful for calming down our nervous system. It's like holding our own hand as we face things that we feel are unpleasant. Eventually, and this amount of time varies from person to person, we will unwind the old energy completely. You can do this, but be patient with yourself. There's no rush. No, if you demand it unwind quickly, you're likely to suppress it again. Just observe. We're not going to put any pressure. And then we'll practice being present to the sensations in our body without attaching to those sensations. If we label or judge or get angry with ourselves, that's okay. It just means more energy to release. So when we get angry with ourselves, or it feels like anger, we have just suppressed more anger, more energy. Okay, and we want to unwind that over and over so that we can learn how to sit in our body. Okay, but hopefully We'll get better and better at staying in the present moment with our sensations and releasing them in the moment or expressing them soon after. So a lot of times when we have an event in our lives that's stressful or maybe frightening, but hopefully not life-threatening, but sometimes it will be. But we have scary events. And what we haven't learned how to do as human beings is to go back and express that energy afterwards. Some people do shake, you see it. And I think a lot of people try to calm that down. I'm going to say we're not going to do that anymore. We're not going to calm down the shaking. We're going to let ourselves shake that energy out of our nervous system. And tapping is so helpful for expressing the energy. So begin by noticing that fear energy. Where in your body do you feel it? The fear of experiencing anxiety. Let's just call it that. Where in your body do you feel it? A lot of people feel it in their gut or their chest. Some people feel it in their legs or their arms or their head. There's no right or wrong place to feel it. There's no Freudian way to feel it. Just notice. Okay, and you may notice it in several places in your body. And once you notice where you feel it, check in one last time and see if because now you've noticed it in these two places, you may now be free to notice it in a third place. It's not required. One place is fine, 2, 3, 4 places in your body, whatever you notice. Okay. Now give it a color. We'll start just by giving it a color, whatever you think it is. Okay. And don't second guess yourself. Just give it a color. Okay. Now we're going to do some EFT tapping. Tap with me, side of the hand, and repeat after me. Even though I feel this fear energy, you repeat that. When I think about experiencing anxiety, I love and accept myself. And I'm ready to begin to observe the energy of fear. And we're going to stay here on the side of the hand. Even though I'm noticing this fear energy in my body, I'm also noticing that I'm safe right here and now. And I can begin to release this fear energy. And now we'll use the color that you gave to the energy. I'm going to use the color green. Even though I'm observing this green energy, in my body, I love and accept myself. And I'm choosing to begin to express this energy up and out of my body to the best of my ability right now, with no pressure, no expectations, no judgments. Okay. And now we're going to tap around the points. So I'll name the points as we go. Just tap along with me, top of the head. This energy on the eyebrow. I call it fear. Side of the eye. I'm observing this energy. Under the eye. I've been storing it in my body for a long, long time. Under the nose. I'm observing it as it unwinds. On the chin, watching it from a distance without expectation. Collarbone, just observing the energy that I've been calling fear. Under the arm, the energy that so often stops me in my tracks. We're going to go back to the top of the head, this energy. On the eyebrow, moving through my body. Side of the eye. I'm allowing it to move. Under the eye, to the best of my ability. Under the nose, I may even be afraid to let it move. On the chin. If so, I can step back and observe that fear energy. The fear of letting it move. We may have many, many layers. It's okay. Collarbone, I can observe this old fear energy as it unwinds. Under the arm, as it begins to express from my body. Okay, we'll take a moment here and just take a deep breath in and out. And if you feel ready, if you're okay with it, let's keep going. Top of the head, this energy. On the eyebrow, I call it fear. Side of the eye, it activates thoughts in my mind. Under the eye, thoughts that tell me to escape at any cost. Under the nose, but I can't escape my body. On the chin. So here I am observing this energy. Collarbone, escaping was my old reaction. Under the arm, if not my body, then my situation. Okay, we're going to keep going. Top of the head, and when I couldn't escape, I got angry. On the eyebrow, and sometimes I created panic. Side of the eye, but here I am observing. Under the eye, just observing. Under the nose. And now I can observe that thinking too. All that thinking about I couldn't escape, I got angry, I created panic, I'm observing. Just whatever your mind is thinking, just observe the thinking. Don't get caught up in it. Don't judge it. On the chin, and I don't have to believe all my thoughts. Collarbone, especially not the thoughts that tell me to escape. You'll know when it's the right time to escape. And that we rarely have that experience in our lives. We actually have to run away from something. Under the arm, this perceived danger is an old thought. We're going to keep going. Just stay with me, or you can pause and come back on when you're ready. Top of the head. Right now, I'm actually safe. So this is an important point. I'm actually safe, even though I'm getting the message that I'm not. And my body has that anxious and fear feeling, but I'm safe. I can look around and see that I'm safe. On the eyebrow, even though I'm experiencing these sensations. Side of the eye. These sensations are simply energy moving in my body. under the eye. These thoughts are energy too, and I can detach from them. So a sensation or an emotion is energy. A thought is energy. And we can detach ourselves from those sensations and thoughts. And I'm not suggesting that we ignore ourselves, but there's a lot of crap going through that we don't need, okay? Under the nose. I can observe the thoughts as if I'm watching them in thought bubbles above my head. There's a thought. That thought's telling me to escape. That thought's telling me to get out of here, okay? As if I'm in a cartoon. Collarbone. And then I can pop those bubbles. Just pop, pop. Every thought can just get popped away. Under the arm. I have 70,000 or so thoughts a day. My mind thinks. That's what it does. On the eyebrow. I've never taught my mind how to think better thoughts. Side of the eye. I've never taught my mind how to ignore the unhelpful thoughts. Under the eye. When my mind thinks, under the nose, my body often responds with those emotions, that moving energy. On the chin. But if the thought isn't helpful, collarbone. There's a good chance I don't need to hold on to the emotion energy either. All right, take a deep breath. And check in with that energy again. The energy that you identified as the fear of feeling anxious. That's even before you feel anxious, or when you're thinking about that you might feel anxious or that you're gonna feel anxious. That's that fear. Is it still scary to observe it and experience it? Is it as scary? Maybe it's not quite as scary, or maybe it's way not as much as scary. Whatever it is, it's totally okay. We don't want to force your body through this exercise. We want to do it gently and consistently. Your emotions and your feelings are all okay. They're just not serving you very well if they're making you feel anxious and feel bad and keeping you stopped in your tracks, okay? So we're gonna move on to the second part, but before we do, if you want to do this part again, you can, if you feel it's needed. You can do it several times if needed. If you really want to bring the energy of fear to a level where you can start on the level of anxiety, the energy of anxiety, which is what we're going to do next. But I encourage you, because you're doing this kind of on your own with my guidance, don't do more than you can do comfortably for now. But come back to it again. You don't need to finish it completely, really, ever, although you likely will. Each time you lower the intensity of the energies, the emotion, you're making headway, you're making progress. You may never get it done, but with persistence, you will feel better and better. So just keep coming back to this, and don't wait too long. Don't wait more than 24 hours before you come back to it again, because then your mind will say, well, that was too scary. We don't want to go do it. But if you just do it and tap, you'll begin to realize that's just the mind making up stories that it's going to be scary. And then the body reacts and all of that process starts again. So stay with it and be consistent. So now we'll move on to the energy of anxiety, or what we call anxiety, okay? Begin by noticing this anxiety energy. Where in your body do you feel it? Now, here's another area. A lot of times people feel anxiety feelings in their gut. And we actually call it anxiety, but that's not what it is. It's energy moving. We just have a label for it so we can discuss it with our therapist or our doctor or whatever, or our friends. But this is why, as we're observing it, we don't want to, once we figure out where it is, we don't want to label it while we're observing it, because that keeps us hooked to it. All right, so where in your body do you feel this energy? Give it a color, and we'll start tapping. Okay. Even though I feel this energy, when I'm experiencing anxiety, I love and accept myself, and I'm ready to begin to observe the energy of anxiety. We'll call it a name for a little while, but then we'll release the name. Even though I'm noticing this energy of anxiety in my body, I'm also noticing that I'm safe right here and now. And I can begin to release this anxiety energy. It's just energy that we gave a name to. And again, we'll call it green, just for ease. Even though I'm observing this green energy in my body, I love and accept myself. And I'm choosing now to begin to express this energy up and out of my body to the best of my ability. Okay, and now we're going to tap around again, top of the head. This energy on the eyebrow, I call it anxiety. Side of the eye. I'm observing this energy under the eye. I've been storing it in my body for a long, long time. Under the nose, it comes and goes. On the chin, I'm observing it as it unwinds. Collarbone, watching it from a distance without expectation. Under the arm, just observing the energy that I've been calling anxiety. Top of the head again. The energy that seems to stop me in my tracks. On the eyebrow, this energy. Side of the eye, moving through my body. Under the eye, I'm allowing it to move. Under the nose, to the best of my ability. On the chin, I can observe this old energy as it unwinds. Collarbone, as it begins to express from my body. Under the arm, this energy. Top of the head, I've been calling it anxiety. On the eyebrow, it seems to activate thoughts in my mind. Side of the eye, that tell me to escape at any cost. Under the eye, but I can't escape my body. Under the nose. And this time I'm not going to escape the situation. on the chin. So here I am observing this energy. Collarbone. Escaping was my old reaction. Under the arm, escaping my situation or my body. We're going to keep going here. Just breathe and come around. Top of the head. And when I couldn't escape, I got angry. On the eyebrow. And sometimes I created panic. Side of the eye. But here I am observing. Under the eye, just observing. Under the nose. And now I can observe that thinking too. On the chin, and I don't have to believe all my thoughts. Collarbone, especially not the thoughts that tell me to escape. I just want to put a note in here. If you ever really do need to escape, you'll know. But we're trained to want to escape from every little uncomfortable situation or every big uncomfortable situation, and we don't need to escape. In fact, the opposite is true for our best health. But we also need to deal with the energy. Under the arm, this perceived danger is an old thought. Okay, and most of the danger that we experience in the 21st century is a thought. It's an idea. We're not actually experiencing it. It might be something we saw in the news. And if you suffer from anxiety, turn off the news. Do not watch the news. The body doesn't know the difference between real and perceived danger. Okay. So now keep going. Top of the head. We're just about done with this round. Right now, I'm actually safe. On the eyebrow, even though I'm experiencing these sensations. These sensations, okay? Side of the eye, these sensations are simply energy moving in my body. Under the eye, these thoughts are energy too, and I can detach from them. Under the nose, I can observe the thoughts as if I'm watching them in thought bubbles above my head, just like we did before. On the chin, as if I'm in a cartoon. And if you need to, here's another little note here. If you need to, slow your thoughts way down, because a lot of times they go so fast we don't even know what we're thinking. Slow them way, exaggerate them slowly to really slow, okay? Collarbone, and then I can pop those bubbles. Under the arm. Turns out I have 70,000 thoughts a day. Top of the head. My mind thinks. That's what it does. On the eyebrow, I've never taught my mind how to think better thoughts. Side of the eye. Or how to ignore the unhelpful thoughts. Under the eye. When my mind thinks, under the nose, my body often reacts with emotions, in parentheses, energy. On the chin. But if the thought isn't helpful, and trust me, you don't need to believe most of your thoughts. Anything that makes you feel horrible, don't believe that thought. Just let it go. You'll be okay. collarbone. There's a good chance I don't need to hold on to the emotion either. The emotion that was triggered by the thought, I can let them both go. Under the arm. There's a good chance the emotion isn't helpful. All right, take a nice, deep, gentle breath in. I'm just gonna, and exhale. And check in with that energy again, the energy that you identified as anxiety. And just notice if it's still scary to observe it and experience it. I want you to kind of make this into something that eventually will become, well, if not unenjoyable, at least not unpleasant, to observe your energy, your experience. That's what our body is for, but we didn't know that. And now we know it. So it's totally okay if it's still scary to observe it. Again, we're not trying to force your body through this exercise. We're just gonna keep doing it, come back to it consistently. So all of your emotions and feelings are all okay. The key here is they don't have to mean anything. You don't have to figure them out. Okay, so you can also let go of any desire to figure out what they mean. Okay, because most of them don't really mean anything. Nothing real anyway. They don't usually mean anything more than the unhelpful meanings we've given them. So you can do this part again, this part about the emotion or the energy of the things we call anxiety. You can do it several times to really bring the energy of anxiety to a level where you can start really letting it go, okay? Don't try to force anything. Again, don't do more than you can do comfortably. Since you're doing this alone, just with this video, just come back to it again tomorrow or later today. You don't need to finish it completely. You maybe never will finish it completely. And by that, I mean, until that energy that you call anxiety is completely gone, never to be felt again. I doubt that. The idea is to release all the old energy, okay, that you make headway so that you can get to a place, and I promise you this is possible because I have gone from constant anxiety to inner peace most of the time. And the key to that is to notice and observe these energy movements. They're just energy moving through the body. I pretty much guarantee you that whatever label you've put on that energy isn't accurate and not helpful. I mean, yeah, it might be anxiety and you might label it that, but that's not really helpful. And so you can just look at the energy, watch the energy go through you. Okay, so persistence, consistency, and you will begin to feel better and better. Okay, again, leave any comments that you want as you try this. Does it help at all? I'm really trying to make this so that people who suffer from anxiety, and lots of people do, they suffer. I want to help you to stop suffering, okay, and live your life better than you ever dreamed possible. All right, I'm Helen McConnell. Please subscribe, click the notifications button, leave good comments, thumbs up, whatever you want to put there. All right, thanks again for watching.